Hello, and welcome back to KWLL's weekly segment where we discuss viewer recommended topics. Today, we will focus our conversation on the animal cruelty issue, specifically about People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA. Animal cruelty has been a grave issue for decades, with numerous advocacy groups working to end such practices. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals is one of the largest organizations that is dedicated to work tirelessly for that cause. Focusing on PETA, we aim to discuss not only the ever-present battle on this front, but also how the organization fits into it all. By the end of this conversation, we hope to leave the audience more informed on the organization and its tactics, allowing them to gauge on their own what they can contribute if they wish to join the fight. While the cruel treatment of animals isn't always in our daily thoughts, people should be aware of the issue, along with any organization committed to ending it. Also, though PETA is one of the largest nonprofit protest groups, it still has its critics, so people must be cautious of that. Being aware of and understanding this problem is vital, as numerous goods we enjoy are at the expense of animal suffering. Even though we are not experts, knowing what PETA stands for and how it conducts itself while protesting are elements we should all be informed of. Again, people should not only be aware of the issue itself, but also to see PETA through a critical lens. We can all stand to learn whether the group's actions truly have the best intentions or if they do more harm than good. Throughout the course of this segment, we will start by highlighting PETA's purpose and history as a protest-heavy organization. Next, we'll look at some of the ways they advocate against animal cruelty, including some instances from its past. Finally, we'll look at and discuss some of the critics and criticisms it receives. To start off, we'll dive into PETA's backstory and reason for being, which my co-host Jaden will walk us through.
Just like other organizations, PETA has a very humble beginning. Its purpose being helping animals, firmly rooted in its activities and work. PETA was founded in 1980 by Ingrid Newkirk and Alex Pachero. These two were very passionate about finding ways to protect animals, and their purpose was just to all around stop animal cruelty and abuse and make sure that animals are going to be treated ethically. One of their first big moments happened in 1981, which is about a year after it was founded. It was called the Silver Spring Monkey Case, and this case was an undercover investigation where PETA would expose the bad things that would happen to monkeys in the lab. This would spark a really large animal rights movement. This case would also lead to a police raid on a lab because of animal cruelty for the first time ever. And this also shows PETA's commitment to legally fighting for animal rights. PETA is also known for being somewhat controversial tactic-wise by using things like protests and undercover investigations, which that will always be controversial. We'll go more in depth to this later as well. For their undercover investigations, they go to places like farms and labs, just where all the abusing and mistreatment is happening, and film how animals are really treated. They would film inside without people even knowing, and then the videos would expose what really happens to the animals in those places. As for the protests, PETA did a campaign by having celebrities wear no clothes to go against the fur industry. More about the protests and campaigns is that PETA is involved in educating about animal rights and cruelty-free living. They also run multiple educational programs in schools and communities. The programs teach people of all ages about how important it is to treat animals ethically, and they give lessons to teachers to provide for the class as well. PETA promotes cruelty-free living because they encourage people to adjust to vegan diets and use products that don't get tested on animals. They offer many recipes and guides to help people with this. Returning to Peyton, she will now discuss more about these campaigns and protests while providing examples of each.
Being extremely dedicated, PETA has multiple ways it protests and advocates against animal cruelty. For starters, the organization won a Supreme Court case over a North Carolina court over ag-gag laws. According to the Associated Press in 2023, ag-gag laws are intended to inhibit animal rights activists from going undercover in the agricultural industry. With this appeal rejected, PETA remained able to practice such investigations. Additionally, David Moroskin, a lawyer representing PETA, noted that, quote, people have a right to know about illegal and unethical conduct. Exposing unsafe or inhumane practices and working conditions is essential to holding powerful bad actors accountable for the harm they cause, end quote. Not only this, but PETA and other organizations have played a major role in pressuring various organizations utilizing animals for entertainment. One monumental success was when 2 famous traveling circuses had to shut down after struggling times. From a 2017 NPR article, Lisa Lange, a senior vice president at PETA, noted that, quote, from Ringling Brothers was a target of ours from the very beginning, end quote. Another point worth noting is that Lange cited the rise in power of social media as a major contributor to the animal cruelty protests becoming so well known. Next, one of PETA's most well-known protests is the I'd Rather Go Naked campaign. In this campaign, which lasted for 30 years, Oscar Holland's CNN article noted that various celebrities ditched their clothes in support. Names such as Pink, Eva Mendes, Dennis Rodman, Pamela Anderson are just some of those celebrities. Its main goal as a campaign was to discourage the use of animal fur in fashion, especially by major luxurious brands such as Prada, Chanel, Burberry, among numerous others, according to Holland. Given that more of those in the clothing industry are moving away from animal fur, the 3-decade campaign concluded as PETA shifted its focus to other major crises related to animal cruelty. With that, we now move on to discuss some criticism PETA receives, which Jaden will highlight for us.
While the group has commendable intentions at heart, the tactics they are known for using reflect poorly on their cause. Their tactics are seen as too extreme sometimes. For example, the ads they do, their protests, have been sometimes too graphic or have nudity, like the celebrity situation, and that can be pretty controversial for some people and take away from the actual message they're sending. Critics say that this will distract people from the actual meaning they are trying to get across. They have also been accused of being too aggressive on points they're trying to get across. People think that being a vegan could possibly push people away, which is understandable. The way that they come off as confronting has also made people feel like they aren't getting the message and take away from the meaning of the message. And also makes people feel like that PETA is coming at them rather than trying to help them. PETA stunts have also been criticized, like how they spend too much time on ads instead of the important things. People think that they could help with animal cruelty given their amount of resources. Considering all this information, we will now reach the end of our discussion, during which Peyton will go over the key points once more.
After such an in-depth look at PETA, it is time to recap crucial elements and points. In essence, the overarching purpose of this segment was to highlight not only how the organization operates, but provide valuable information to the audience. Through this newfound content, individuals could discern for themselves how they too wish to join in the fight against animal cruelty. Throughout this discussion, major emphasis was placed on the beginning and foundation that PETA has established itself on. Further emphasizing this point, examples of how the group protests and campaigns against animal cruelty were discussed, noting some of its more famous actions. Looking through a critical lens, however, the tactics and methods by which PETA uses has brought major backlash to the organization. Even if some people are unable to actively engage in the protest group, it remains vital that they understand and gather information on different organizations, such as PETA. At first glance, PETA seems intently dedicated to fighting against animal cruelty, but it has been heavily criticized for its methods. While PETA may be ethically questionable, it still voices a vital point to remember. We are the ones benefiting from the cruel treatment of animals. Even though we may not see or always be aware of the various forms of animal cruelty, does not mean they are not happening at any given moment. At the very least, PETA keeps that fact inescapable, forcing us to confront its reality. That will conclude this week's segment. As always, we thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you all next week with a new topic to discuss.